Hello. So I'm going to try and introduce this log like it's a show now. Let's have a quick look. Okay, yeah, so let's try this. Hi, I'm Sasha, and this is, I don't know the name of the show. And what I'm attempting to do right now is to explore, oh, there's the camera, is to explore potentially creating a digital institute to sort of pioneer the way that we teach, well, firstly, acting, and then sort of to filter that into a more universal word to describe people, so a creative. So to create content where you are the lead actor, or you don't need to be the lead actor, you could turn into a director or a producer, but like a man called Jordan Peterson said, if you focus on one thing very well, and then all of a sudden you will be able to acquire new skills to create something else. So if you become a really good actor, you can then start to think, oh, I can do my own play, or I can create my own web series. And then in order to create that web series, you then have to learn about cameras, and then you also have to learn about sort of bringing people together, which is the production side. Yeah, there are two strands that I'd like to explore, which is the self-sufficient creative, which is creating projects on your own, whether that be physical or digital, and then also the sort of strand of sort of teaching acting, which would be to amalgamate the sports science and sports analysis, the instant feedback that one would use in a golf swing, filming that and then breaking it down into its components, and then being able to improve the swing that way, to use those philosophies into acting. Okay, I kind of went off into a massive tangent there, but I am currently in Istanbul. It's where my father came from, so it's been a great sort of experience to be able to come to a place where I've never been before as well, to be able to walk around and sort of get out of the routine of the city that I live in. So this log I wanted to also just, yeah, there you are, the camera's always there. This log I wanted to talk about is the, can you put a figure or a number on success? So, I mean, I haven't seen the episode of Black Mirror, but there is an episode where it's almost as if, you know, your social media presence is what gives you your sort of standing within society. And although that might be a sort of a commentary on a dystopian future, again, I haven't seen it, so I think I'll probably watch it. But I think there is some merit to that idea. For example, an actor who isn't maybe classically sort of successful in that he hasn't done anything of note on television or TV or film, but somehow has been able through social media to amass a following of 5,000 to 10,000 followers, let's say. I'll use an example. There was a student that was 2 years below me when I was at drama school, and he managed to amass something like 15,000 to 20,000 followers, and I think that would have helped a lot. And I think that, you know, we need to have this discussion now of the fact that casting directors, I imagine, if it comes down to the last two, for theatre or even film, would sort of look at those numbers. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it is show business. It is business. You know, you need to let's say you need to get bums on seats. So if there is two very talented actors, and it's down to the last two, and one has got 349 followers on Instagram, but the other one has 10,000 followers. Now, what that means is that they have an audience already of 10,000 people. So, sort of business sense, it makes a lot of sense to hire that person. And so, I personally think that as part of training, that we should try and, as early as possible, to leave space in the training program to teach people how to amass those followings. So, for example, if you are at drama school, it would be really cool. I mean, I can go back to a very pure example of imagine watching Vivienne Westwood become Vivienne Westwood. So you saw her in her first year at university, through to her showcase year, through to her first apprenticeship at a fashion house, and then eventually, you then see her, and you see that through Instagram or Facebook or whatever social media output it can be. I mean, I suppose it could be all of them, but I think we're getting to that point now where you can see the growth of a genius, or of a superstar, or of some sort. So imagine if you gave room and you actually gave these students the tools to build a following whilst they're in training. And so not only that, it would also help with the institute that was training them. It would give them press coverage and sort of, you would be able to see what kind of style of teaching that institute was giving. So I think there's a lot of pluses in that. And so I do think that we are starting to get to a point now where you can start to see success in numbers. And some people might think that's a bad thing, some people might think it's a good thing. I personally think that you can be scared of those changes, or you can embrace them. And I personally think that when you embrace those kind of changes, it will put more power to the creatives. So another example, I was talking to my brother about this, was that, for example, the Avengers came out the other week, and that is a massive sort of Hollywood studio sort of production. And so we were talking about the viewerships and how studios and now more and more independent filmmakers and production companies are coming in and creating amazing content, which also, people like YouTube and Netflix has meant that viewership is becoming a lot more lateral rather than vertical. So let's say, for example, the Avengers, it made, I think, in its first couple of weeks, £2 billion. So let's say a ticket costs about £10. So that would be 200. My maths is really bad. So that's 2 billion. So that's potentially £2 billion. So that means that there would be 2 million people watching it at £10 a ticket. So you've got that as 2 million people. Now, before, it would have been a lot more people because there was less choice as well. So what's happening now is that the big studios are no longer making varied entertainment. They are making very specific remakes and sequels and comic book movies, because, I mean, they cost a lot of money to make, but they are hopefully confident knowing that they will make money. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that people like YouTube have now sort of completely sort of flipped the system of how you watch and view things. So what that does is it creates a little bit more of a playing field in which we are open to create content where, I don't know, you can have people that are now have YouTube subscribers of 3 million or whatever. And so I think that's another strand which needs to be sort of talked about and sort of learnt, is the mechanics of YouTube, and let's actually talk about the technologies that are coming into place. And the more that a creative understand and know these, they become tools rather than slaves to them. What else is there? So I think that's all that I kind of really want to say about that. Like I said, this is really new to me, and I'm still just growing and growing. If anyone has any comments to make about what I'm discussing, I'd love to start conversations. And if anyone feels sort of the opposite to how I feel, I would love to have those conversations, because I think the more I can get in touch with people that might have opposite views and have a debate in a healthy way, then I'll be able to find the holes in my theories and be able to evolve them and develop them further. There was one more thing I wanted to say about YouTube. Oh yeah, that was it. Is that finally I was going to say is that how there's a question in my mind now, is that I was discussing with someone that knows a lot about SEO, search engine optimization, and sort of growth of a company through social media, but you having to do it in a non-organic way. He was saying that this is the first time there's an all-time low with organic growth on social media and things, and it's okay. So in that case, if that's how it's evolving, how do we get it? How do we creatives grow a following organically in an environment where it's becoming more and more filled with sponsored posts and people that are just throwing money into it? My initial response is viral things, maybe 15-second videos, and creating funny clips that go viral, and it's about enticing people to your YouTube channel using videos that could potentially go viral. And the only way you can do that is to create more output of videos of that length and nature. If anyone else has any suggestions, please do let me know as well. But I will try and sort of come up with some more thoughts and theories. But I do think that this will eventually turn into how-tos as well. I'd love to really start to develop it in that way. But for now, thanks for listening, and see you in a bit. Bye.